Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Mage the Ascension the Victorian Age here on Dork Tales. I hope you're all having a great night tonight. I am your storyteller, Kelly. I use he and him. And folks, we're back with episode 5 of book 3 of Mage the Ascension the Victorian Age. It's been a little bit because of summer and heat waves and life stuff, but we're back for your July game, and then we'll be back again in about a month. So we'll talk about that a little bit. So welcome so much welcome so much. Is that a thing? Hey, welcome. And I'm excited to be running this game tonight. We're going to be hopping in just a second. But before we do, let's do a quick round of hellos with everybody who's here tonight. Let's start with Christine.
Hello. I'm Christine. I use she, her pronouns. And tonight I'm playing Dr. Evelyn Taylor, who also uses she, her pronouns. She is our Society of Ether member. And she is definitely full-on mad scientist right now.
Nice. It's a good mode to be in.
Morality filter has been taken off. Thank you, Quiet.
Nice. Next to you, we've got the one and only Amy.
Hi, that's me. I'm Amy. I am at least one Amy, but I'm certainly not the only Amy. At least here, I'm the only Amy, which is, better. My pronouns are she, her, they, them, and I am playing Chastity, Prudence, Goodwin, the Celestial Chorister / Cult of Ecstasy member.
Beautiful. And the one and only Jen.
Hey, I'm Jen. I use she, her pronouns, and I am playing Josephine Carrington. I'm not going to do her full name right now because I forgot to pull it up, but yeah, Josephine Carrington or Joe or whatever. She uses any kind of pronouns, but probably she, her because of the time period. And she is our Order of Hermes Bene Thyrsus.
Beautiful. And finally, the one of many Robins. You're a flock. You're a bird. You're a special bird. Anyway, hi, Robin.
Hello, everyone. I'm Robin. I use she, her pronouns, and tonight I am playing Darcie Harkness, who she was using he, him for a while until the very last seconds of game last time, where she got her boobs back.
Aw, congrats.
Yeah. So yeah, this is totally fine and totally didn't. I haven't been like waiting for this conclusion for months now. So a riot of robins. I love it.
A riot of robins.
I'm only going to be referred to as that now. So
Riot girl.
Prepare. Yep.
Nice. And of course, our 5th mage tonight is Bookworm Games. Bookworm Games is our sponsor, folks, and they could be your sponsor too. At least they could sponsor you in getting some amazing dice at a wonderful discount. That's right. If you use code DorkTales, you'll save 15% on your dice purchase. I see that Vlad the Impaler, who's technically for me Vlad the Employer, and I've been trying to make that joke for months now. I'm just trying to fit that in there. Is in the chat right now. So good to see you there, Michael. Very excited to be running this game. And I believe some of us are using our Mage Gemstone or Vampire Gemstone dice tonight. So may they roll well, and may you pick your own up over at bookwormgames.com. Save 15% with code DorkTales. And very soon, you are going to be able to get some Mage the Ascension the Victorian Age Devil and the Doves themed dice. That's right. We're making a special set just for this game because you guys love it so much. And it's going to be purple. It's going to be doves. It's going to be great. So you are going to be able to get some amazing dice and at a nice price, because that we love you and we want you to have good dice. That's basically it. Thank you so much to Bookworm Games for being our sponsor and just being lovely. Be sure to check them out for all of the cool stuff that they have. All manner of dice, including 10 sets and even some edible dice, which are great if you want to impress your players. Or if you're playing Changeling the Dreaming and you have to eat an inanimate object for part of one of your spells, which I can't remember the term of now because it's been like 20 years since I played Changeling the Dreaming. It'll come back to me mid-game and I'll scream it out randomly because ADHD is fun. But thank you so much, Bookworm Games, for being our sponsor. Besides that, any other questions, comments, concerns, anything fun happening with everybody these days? Anything good? It's been a while.
I have new dice.
You have new dice?
I have no idea how they roll because I haven't tested them yet, but they are like noxiously like nuclear yellow.
And green screened out. It is just a hole that you're holding up right now.
I wasn't sure if it would show up or not. but they are basically
fantastic.
nuclear yellow.
You're rolling the void.
Nuclear. It's pronounced nuclear.
This exact color set in a D7, in a 7 set that I used for Malia most frequently, that I had to retire for a bit because they were rolling too well, too regularly.
All right. So, folks, it has been a little bit of time, so let me just sum up what happened. Oh boy. You all are trying to make your way down to Cairo, from whence you will take a long and perilous journey in the lap of luxury aboard the Empress Express, a flex of the technocracy and Queen Victoria's might that spans across the Middle East and into India, the seat of imperial British power. To do that, of course, you had to leave France and make your way to Cairo. Upon boarding a ship in France known as the Nestor, you found yourself embroiled in a number of different fiascos. First of all, you were invited to the captain's table in order to dine with the captain and several dignitaries. That went poorly immediately because you stole the dog that the
That
countess...
is not what made it go badly.
It didn't help.
Listen.
No, okay. You still have
after all the badness.
Okay. So, anyway, a bunch of bad things happened. There were paradox spirits. There was a fight ring down under deck that Darcie won a bunch of money at. You ended up inheriting a many $1,000 worth insurance policy and impressively expensive necklace that had been quote unquote stolen from this noble woman, along with her dog, who has a much less expensive but still honestly pretty fancy necklace of its own. It is a papillon, if you want to say it that way, and is permanently unconscious from the sound of it. Josephine got attacked by a strange individual who may belong to the Lightkeepers faction of the technocracy inside of your cabin, and ended up losing her arm. You made it back there to help save her life and stabilize her, and using some interesting techniques regrew her arm, or replaced it with a spare arm from somebody on the floor after summoning a meatworm. That was a thing. I'm really glad you were asleep for that, Joe, because you did not need to see the meatworm. The meatworm is not a euphemism. It was literally a worm made of meat.
Yeah, no, I did not need to see that.
Yeah,
no.
It was pretty gross. Reminded me of something out of like Jason Goes to Hell, which is my touchstone for gross things in my life. And from there, Josephine was restored to health. You all made your way off the Nestor when it docked in Alexandria, preparing to take a carriage to the riverboat that would take you down the Nile and into Cairo. And that is when it was offered that you would share a ride with a pair of individuals that you met on your voyage. Samuel Blackwood, a rough and tumble adventurer and former U.S. Army soldier, and Henry Matto, a member of the Sioux Nation, a Native American from the Sioux Nation, the Dakotas. And everything was going fine until Darcie stepped into the carriage, and Paradox, the Straits, what have you, decided that that would be the moment to release the spell that had trapped her in the masculine form she had assumed. And I think that's where we're going to start game. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Just a couple? Any concerns at all?
As always, few concerns.
Many. Yep.
So many concerns.
I'm still unconscious at this point, right?
You were like half conscious. You were basically like really groggy and discombobulated from the blood loss.
Cool. I will keep that up for a short period of time at least. So
I think this might wake you up. But so why don't we hop into game right there? Alongside the dock, there are crowds of people, dozens upon dozens of hundreds. Dock workers, passengers, people hauling cargo, beggars moving amidst the throng. And off to the side there, is your carriage. One by one, each of you got in. Henry Matto stayed inside, sitting comfortably inside of the shade of this carriage. But as a gentleman, Sam Blackwood stepped out and offered you all a chance to go and sit. And one by one, each of the feminine of you took that offer. Josephine was helped inside by Evelyn and Chastity, who both stepped up and took their seat. And then Samuel stepped up inside and said, "All right, come on, Tommy, let's get out of here." And that is when Tommy Keevan took a step up into the carriage. And as the driver shut the door on his ass, there was a sudden shifting of fabric as the chest of that little scrappy Irish man suddenly went soft and slack. The waist tapered in, the hips expanded against the pants in a strange, clinging shape. And the facial hair receded completely inside of soft cheeks. And Darcie Harkness is now standing inside of this carriage as you hear, "Yeah!" And you are going to tumble immediately. Can you do me a favor, Darcie, and give me a Dex and Athletics roll at a difficulty 9, please?
Does fast reflexes apply?
No, this is balance-based.
Okay, so dodging also does not apply?
Dodging does not apply.
Okay, cool. Just want to double check. Oh! Oh! Oh, hello, my dice. You've missed me. 3 successes.
Okay, so you are going to stumble, and instead of collapsing full bore across the seats, which are Henry, a blank seat, and Samuel, you will instead be able to brace yourself, which we're going to be super immature here, folks, and we're going to say that you grab a side of the carriage and just end up kind of doing a boom, anime-style face plant, well, not your face, at least, chest plant directly in front of Samuel.
Oh, of course.
So you don't tumble, you're able to grab on and are just going to pull yourself up as the carriage rockets into view. What the hell?
Ah, shite. My must have fallen off. And
What
the binding
the hell?
It's not. Funny story.
Tommy, what the hell happened to your voice? Your voice comes out in squeaks and squawks as it reacclimatizes to your new vocal cords. Oh, your old vocal cords, I should say.
It's me. Actually, the name is Darcie. Pleasure to meet you.
Oh no.
What the bleeding cantankerous hell is going on here? Henry's just going to stare and go.
Funny story. You got beat by a girl.
Told you not to trust a white man. Well, thanks for the tip there. No. You weren't a girl. You weren't a girl.
I was.
Listen, you Irish bug. I got a grip of your bangers and mash in the middle of that fight. You weren't a girl. Tried to pick your stinky potato ass up. Excuse me, ladies. And you most certainly weren't a girl down there. So you explain what the hell is going on right now.
Prosthetic. Had to be believable in a fight.
Give me, give me a manipulation and subterfuge roll. Give me difficulty 8.
While Darcie is bullshitting like
charisma.
Sure.
Okay.
Darcie's sitting like Samuel heavily. Evelyn's gonna be paying attention just to other fellow, just trying to see if anything will be given away to that they have that idea about magic in any way, shape, or form.
Just charming apply.
Sure.
I dropped that on the ground. Where did you go on the ground? Oh, you're gone forever. It's fine. Difficulty 8. That's gonna be 1 success.
Fine then. Show me. Give me your dick. I want to see it.
That's so rude to ask.
Listen, I have it packed away because I didn't think I was going to be in a fight with a man this carriage trip. It's quite expensive, so I didn't want it to get... I don't wear it every day unless I think I'm going to get gripped.
Oh, so what? You were planning on it?
I mean, I was going into a fight ring. I figured I was going to get up close and personal.
You look pretty surprised when it happened.
It doesn't mean I'm surprised. She's going to go grab his chunk. Or you're not surprised?
Cut to the side of you where the rest of you are just watching this happen, and Henry's sitting there. He brushes some of his raven black hair over his ear and goes, "Are you all as crazy as this one?"
No. Certainly not.
Yes.
Well,
good to know.
I suppose
Different flavor.
You're questioning whether or not it's hidden better than Darcie.
Strange.
Listen,
I mean, we're 4 women traveling alone.
exactly.
Or women.
I needed a way to make some cash for us. It's not like a woman can go in a fighting ring.
What, from grabbing
I
people's...
grew up on a farm.
That's more my line of work.
What, you're a lady of the night?
She just shrugs.
Henry, back me up on this. I think all white people are crazy.
But I can certainly attest that there are many who do accentuate certain features if they think they need to.
But I know one thing for sure. That was not accentuation.
Well, then what do you think happened?
I think you are strange ones.
It's not exactly the first time I've been called
Not
strange.
the first time I've heard that.
Yeah.
You remind me of my cousin.
In a good way or a bad way?
It depends what you do with what you are given. My cousin is like your friend here. Possessing of both. He gestures over. to where Darcie is grabbing Sam by the junk. Well, fine, 2 can play at that game, and he's gonna grab Darcie by the junk.
Fair. Let's work with that.
Can we potentially stop grouping crotches at this point?
Duh. And he's gonna take his hand back like he burned it.
Unless you two wish to continue flirting. But that might be better behind closed doors.
I ain't...
Darcy's
Fine.
gonna look at
Flirting.
Evelyn and go, "Eh,
You're the one who had his hand on his crotch.
to show a point."
Wait till
Flip
the
the
hotel.
American
There's plenty of
insulted me.
time.
Evelyn's just going to be grinning behind her fan.
This man has been nothing but rude to me. Why would I be flirting with him?
I was plenty nice to Tommy.
I believe maybe there's a line from Shakespeare about this one. Something about protesting too much.
Doth. Methinks. Yes.
Darcy's gonna go sit across
Are you a
from
witch,
Sam.
Tommy Keevan? Or Darcie? Darcie.
Darcie Harkness.
You're the one that ruined my flask!
Yeah. You're the one that insulted me.
That flask
I
was a
clumsy.
gift.
From who?
Who?
Yeah, was it a gift or were you just being it? All right. Talk about it.
That was a gift from Ulysses S. Grant.
Who?
Yeah, who?
Chastity, you would absolutely know Ulysses S. Grant, General of the Union Army, sitting President of the United States till 1877.
Oh, probably. But she's definitely playing up the who? Because
The savior of the goddamned Union. You gotta be...
Oh,
The what now?
all right. I'm from Ireland. Don't really keep up with America.
Oh, sorry. How's your queen? King? Queen. Queen. It's a queen, right? It is a queen. Thanks.
Yes, it's a queen. Listen. If you're not going to burn me at the stake, what if I was a witch?
There's no problem with witches. As I said,
Really?
I have a cousin like you. Your
Excellent.
English is insufficient to describe. They walk on both sides. English is messy and stupid.
Agreed.
Yeah. All right, so yes.
So you're saying
I
you're
may have.
okay with this? What do you mean witch? Like Salem?
not exactly the same. No.
No.
Wait, are you all witches?
No.
I would prefer the title of doctor, personally.
I'm a wizard. Drunkenly from the corner.
Is your... That's why I need that flask.
Do you want it back so bad?
Yeah? Of course I want my flask back. But it's in the middle of the damn Mediterranean.
Yeah, Yeah, it is. Josephine's gonna like, I don't know if she's close enough, but if she's not, she'll stumble over and like try to pull some of his hair.
Okay. Hey, what do you? You're gonna be able to pull some of his hair. He's not expecting that. So you're, ow! What the? Did you really have?
Do you want your flask or not?
And Josephine's gonna stumble back to her seat and attempt to correspondence his flask into her bag.
Do it. That's going to be, you got sleepers present. You got one sleeper present. Henry doesn't really count because he's basically he's like a bystander in Hunter, where it's like kind of in the know. He's in the know, and he like believes in the stuff, so he doesn't count. Because he has seen it, because the veil is very thin on certain areas of the American West still. So, as you do that, that's going to be at a difficulty of 2, 5, 7, please.
Cool.
But I'll give it to you with much lower successes since you have a sympathetic connection.
Cool. That is 3 successes.
Oh, damn. So there's going to be an audible pop. And I'm going to give you 2 points of straights for that.
Yeah.
So you're at 5 right now. So there you go. And suddenly you are going to reach inside of your bag, and the smell of seawater, the smell of brine and the Mediterranean Ocean is suddenly going to flood the carriage for half a second as you reach in, and there is a waterlogged flask.
Or at least chuck it at him, just like a toss, but...
Ah!
You're welcome. Now shut the fuck up.
He takes a long look at the flask into you, unscrews the top. Yes, ma'am. And takes a long pull off of what's inside.
Yep.
So with that, is there anything else that you are discussing on the rest of the ride over to the riverboat? Where is it that you are?
Darcie's just glaring at Sam. The tired carriage ride.
Where is
I
it
think
that...
Jassie's gonna nudge Darcie periodically if she notices her glaring too much. Just be like eyebrow wiggle. Kind of like tilting the head, like meaningful looks. Whether or not the meaning is conveyed is entirely different.
Perfect. Perfect. So, as you are making your way down to the Nile riverbank, it's not terribly long. It's probably about a 20-minute carriage ride that mostly is held up by traffic. You have not seen this many people crossing a street anywhere else. France, far more organized. England, of course, in some of the poorer areas, we're teeming with life. But here, in the downtown heart of Alexandria, or at least nearby enough, there must be 1,000 people within sight of you.
I'm going to need both of you, sirs, to look away. I don't think I'm going to be very popular as a woman dressed in pants and a very obvious male shirt. So I'm going to need to change. So if you could avert your gaze for a bit, I'm going to need to get changed. And Darcie's just gonna try in the carriage, away from the windows, to try and like start undressing
stripping
and changing. Yeah.
Evelyn will offer you her umbrella with the caveat
perfect.
that she's going to point at several buttons and whatnot because it's been modified heavily. Don't press these.
I thought that was bad luck.
That's only indoors. I don't think a carriage counts.
I see. The men will both turn to look out the windows, and then we'll pull the blinds on them, or pull the curtains shut, so that nothing is going to be able to be visible there. And then they just awkwardly stare at the drapes.
Gentlemen. All right. Thank you very much. There, much more fitting.
So you are headed to Cairo? Yes?
This is correct.
Where are you gentlemen heading?
Cairo as well. Yeah.
Lovely. Work?
I've got a job lined up in Cairo, a private security gig.
Sounds exciting, at least.
Should be profitable.
I think we got off on the wrong foot. Darcie Harkness.
Samuel Blackwood. I still don't really know the rest of you.
Well, I'm feeling a bit better after that nap. Josephine Carrington. Or Joe. Whatever you want, really.
Mm-hmm. Nice to meet you. Doctor?
Evelyn Taylor.
And, lady of the evening?
Generally, I prefer the term governess, but I'm Chastity Goodwin.
It's a fancy word for the job. No offense.
Shockingly apt, though.
Evelyn will kind of casually smack her palm with her fan at that moment. Just to punctuate what Chastity's saying.
My friend, you have about as much skill handling women as you do handling tequila. There was one time. One time. It was not one time. All right, well, looks like we're about here.
Drink with the worm in it, is it not?
Yeah.
That's what that lady had the other night. It was quite nice.
You like tequila?
It was enjoyable.
Yes. It is. Well, looks like we're about here. Look, you can...
Sorry.
No, go ahead. Ladies first.
I was going to suggest that while we are four women that are quite capable of handling ourselves, we are still, in fact, four women traveling alone. And you are two men. And I was wondering if...
Why don't you pause on that one?
I was wondering if you might be willing to escort us to Cairo. Since it looks like we're going there together.
Well, I'd already planned to do it anyway when there were 3 ladies. I don't suppose an extra one will really cause us that much trouble. Right?
I mean,
I
she
have no
tends to
skin
cause
in this
plenty
game.
of trouble, but
Listen, you haven't met my compatriots too well. Get to know us. We get into all sorts of trouble. But that's fun.
Fine, we'll take you to Cairo. You got a place I need to drop you off?
What was the hotel we were going to stay at?
That was a great question.
Evelyn would actually remember the name, but I don't remember the name. But she will say whatever name it was for roughly mid-range hotel I think we talked about.
Fair, fair.
yeah, I think you had given us a bunch of like options, and
I
can't remember which
did.
one we
I
actually
did. I'm seeing if I
picked.
wrote them down because it's been several months.
I think we're going to the Continental.
Ah, yes, the Continental, because John Wick happened
yeah.
right when I was planning this.
Yeah. I searched our profile or our group chat and searched the word hotel. There was only 6
there's a cover.
choices.
Nice.
I'm gonna look up the Continental Cairo real quick, and look up 1890s, and then photos. Oh damn! Yeah, you totally want to stay there. The Grand Continental, not just the Continental. Folks, I'm going to share a couple of images for the live viewers right now. If you search Grand Hotel Continental Cairo 1890, you will find the images we're looking at.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
It looks
Because
very...
it was the one that was in the city. That's why we wanted it, but it was like kind of mid-range. Yes.
Oh, not staying at the Savoy.
No, we wanted to be a bit something in town. Also easier to go unnoticed.
All right, fine.
Where were you staying? The Savoy?
Of course, we were staying at the Savoy. We were staying at a boarding house.
I was going to say, I think you maybe overestimated our funds. If you're thinking Savoy.
Why do you think I was in a fighting ring?
He starts to say something, and then his friend puts a hand on his knee and gives him the head shake. Because of your spunky disposition.
Did any of you you brought all my stuff, right? All of it?
Of course.
It's all in the bag? Okay. Excellent.
And that is the moment when Chastity's bag is going to start, the one on her lap, is going to start writhing as if there were something alive and squirming inside of it as the cloth begins to shift and shimmy, and then you're going to hear a very drunken papillon bark.
Did you get that?
That's
Rat?
fine. Of course.
Where did you even find that?
Here and there. Well,
This is
mainly I
fucking-
saved it from getting kicked off the side of the boat. It's so cute. She's just like gripping and holding it and like lifting it up.
It's going to
It's
let out a yarp, yarp.
Yeah.
You better keep a
you
good
have
hold on it
snacks?
because that thing's basically crocodile bait.
Huh. Can you make me a charisma and animal handling roll, please? The dog is going to begin to panic
you know
a little.
What it's not on my sheet is animal handling.
Fair, or sorry, animal ken. Is animal ken?
No, I think that's a
Really?
write-in.
They did not put it on this one. Oh damn.
Yeah,
Or
so I think
if
it's
it
not
was-
hidden.
No, it's a write-in.
Okay.
Yeah, I have empathy. I have expression. And I can, so you said, and charisma?
Yeah, so give me charisma and empathy at an 8.
Okay.
Or leadership?
They
didn't put that one in there too, did they?
No. I
gonna...
have intimidation, but that's not the way I want to go.
That's fair. Give me 1 sec. I'm just going to double check the sheet real quick because I'm used to the old one still. Give me a...
It's why I have to open one. I have to have one open when I run Zero Sum. It's because I'm like, must remember.
M20 slightly different. Okay, what I want you to do is give me charisma and survival. Handling animals would be... Give me...
I don't have survival.
Well, then, hey, why don't you give me charisma at a difficulty 6, please?
Okay.
Or 7.
Like I said, I can do empathy. I can do expression.
Empathy's for humans, unfortunately.
I can do... I have 1 dot in escapology.
What'd you say, Christine?
Yeah. Just Chastity's not had much opportunity to handle animals.
Yeah, normally when people are in dog collars, it's people.
Yeah.
That's really true. The crop's not for horses.
Don't think it's ever seen a horse.
I don't think it's ever... Exactly. The crop would be like, wow, what's that thing?
I'm guessing bold would not apply here.
I'll allow it.
Okay. It's been a hot second since I used this, so that just gives me an extra...
So it gives you rerolls on 10s.
Right, yes, okay. And you said difficulty 6?
Difficulty of 7, because you don't have the skill.
Ah, okay. Well, that is 2 8s.
Okay. So the dog is going to squirm a little in your hands, but you're going to be able to hold on to it well. It does a couple of side glances, and you're in a carriage right now, right? And there's no glass on the windows. There are just these curtains that you draw across them, so you can hear the sound of the people outside, the din of the marketplace, the din of the dockyard, all of that kind of circulating around you. And the dog takes a couple of looks at the open window and prepares to launch itself out. But you are going to get a good grip and are not going to let that happen, right? Okay. So it's going to let out a little yipe yipe.
Does Bran on my lap just like roll his eyes?
Well, Bran's in your purse or bag, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Unless Bran was like hiding in your pants, in which case then there's a joke there that we're not going to.
I think Chastity is going to grab look around for some snacks. I figure she probably would have tried to snag something before she left, but I'm not sure if she would have been able to.
Well, we'll tell you what, Jen.
No, finish what you're saying, and then...
Yes, you can grab a couple things out of your bag that you would have grabbed.
Okay. So then just stick some snacks to get its attention, like something dried probably.
It begins tearing into the snacks, licking your fingers furiously with one of those like tiny little dog tongues that are just always ticklish no matter what they do. It's like, wow, it's weird. Okay. Tiny dog tongues, man. They're way different than big dog tongues. They don't slurp.
It's true.
Yep.
Josephine's going to rummage through her bag, so you can probably hear like weird clinking sounds because all of the silverware she stole and all of the cash she has in there now. But she's gonna pull out the emerald-studded dog collar that she also took and be like, "Did you want a collar for him?"
You dames are veritable Moriartys.
Yeah, we should probably have something on it.
Well, because I took it before you got the dog, so...
right.
I figure you
might as well
use it. I feel like
that will draw attention, though.
That's true. We could probably pry the emeralds out. Then it would just be a weirdly shaped dog collar.
That's probably for the best, I think.
Yeah, yes, we don't want to... We don't want to risk getting mugged or attacked because of that. I'm sure, Evelyn, you're pretty good with materials.
It doesn't exactly look like something one of us would own.
let me see if I got something that'll work. Chastie's gonna start rooting through her bag, and is going to try and find something that is effectively just a like tiny dog. So
hands to myself.
Like a leather bracelet, like that type that has a buckle, or like a watch, or like something.
Yeah, you totally do have a watch that you could
probably.
Yeah, like honestly, a Papilion's throat. Like like a pocket watch.
Tiny.
Like alternative. I mean, like tell you what, I'm gonna make you a luck roll. Okay, so you do have something that would probably fit to be a little tight. You can see that like Henry's got a couple of like leather bracelets on that would probably do a better job, thicker wrist.
But you could someone for their stuff.
You could probably make it work.
Yeah. Do I have to? If I punch an extra hole at the end of the thing.
Yeah, you could do that.
Would that be better to... Okay, she's gonna do some fiddling, and then is going to essentially assemble a small collar out of
your watch.
Probably accessories that would belong to an outfit or part of it, something.
Henry's going to kind of look at this as it's happening. He's going to look up at Evelyn, sitting right across from him, and kind of lean in and say, "Watchdog." And lean back, feeling kind of proud of himself.
Evelyn's just gonna snap her fan open and laugh behind it.
All right, everyone out! You hear as the carriage comes to a stop.
Joe's gonna put the emerald dog collar back in her bag.
Yep.
All right. And as you're let out of the carriage, there's going to be a pause as Sam grabs a couple of bags off the shelf. I guess you're going to be wanting me to carry your stuff now too, Miss Darcie.
I'm quite a capable woman, but if you are offering so generously. Thank you, Mr. Blackwood.
You did walk into that one. You are aware of that, correct?
I've been
and Evelyn
walking.
will pull her bag from the shelf.
And just because you're a doctor doesn't mean that... Henry, a hand?
Oh, be careful. There is something in my bag that will get very cross with you if you drop it.
Potentially you should take Bran out.
Yeah, probably.
I was enjoying the ride.
We'll be more likely to be cross with
Bran,
you.
not quite.
You say something?
I'm fairly certain the cat's out of the bag at this point.
There's a... What? Okay, whatever. Here, I'll carry your stuff, ladies. Henry, help me out. I'm not their manservant.
Just shoulder her bag and get out of the carriage.
Besides, women can carry their own things. They're strong and capable.
Quite.
Yes.
Although they do pack a lot. He looks at like the various duffels and things that some of you have brought. All right.
Well,
Do you
at
see
least
the skirts that we have to wear? It's so
And I'm
much
fairly
that
certain Evelyn's brought an entire laboratory with her, so...
And it is a single suitcase.
Perhaps it is your fault for living in a society that requires you to have so many extraneous pretty things.
Well, there's not too many other options. They're all restrictive in one way or another.
And regretfully, if you don't comply, you get called something like, oh, a harlot?
Or
Yes.
worse.
Or worse.
I will help you carry the trunk. And Henry grabs the trunk and his very simple over-the-shoulder like leather bag, like basically like a laundry bag type, tosses it over his shoulder and helps you carry the stuff. And as you turn around, you can see a line already forming there in front of this massive riverboat. The one that you are looking at right now is one of the Thomas Cook travel companies. The steamer in front of you is flanked by quite a number of, I'm going to butcher this, Brahahagas, which are the old-fashioned, like, sailboats that used to take you across here. Like sail and paddle. Now here, the one in front of you is a 45-berth Behera steamer. It is incredibly long. Anybody who's seen Death on the Nile has seen a version of this. It is a steamship that is, I would say a good, that's 5 feet, 150 feet long from nose to end. And you can see people lining up to board.
I suppose that is our destination.
Wow. Ain't that. Did you see? Darcie will finally crack her grumpy face with the, like, seeing the ship. It's just, she's gonna, like, burst out into this very girly, like, excited smile.
And I apologize, I'm wrong. It's 230 feet long and has capacity for 80 passengers comfortably.
Ooh.
And what are you doing before you head on?
I think Evelyn's going to fish out a scarf, like was kind of recommended at dinner. Christine's not going to actually put it on because that's very warm.
Mm-hmm.
It's an extra layer, but basically, I do have one, like a light white cotton scarf. Or like
Perfect.
linen.
You can see that most of the people that are boarding, there are quite a few, like, locals. There are quite a few people from the African subcontinent. Pretty easy to detect among all of the Englishmen, Frenchmen, Italians, and others from Europe that are making, well, maybe not, the Italians are pretty tanned, but definitely you're seeing a lot of Northern European and Western European folks that are loading up there, dressed in dark clothes. Even this time of year, you're seeing several white ladies that look like they're probably from England, dressed in full skirts with fur stoles in this heat.
A scarf is probably also relatively normal for somebody to wear, even from England,
of course.
because it would be highly dusty, and a lot of that dust will be dung.
That is fair.
So to keep it out of your hair and off your face and whatnot, a lot of women are probably wearing veiled hats too, potentially.
Quite a few of them. I'm looking at a drawing from the era, and it is very like summer's
Commonly
best.
Mm-hmm.
And then looking at a lot of the guys, a lot of them are wearing, like, I forget the exact term, but it's basically safari hats. The ones with the big domes. These hats, if you look at the photo that I just shared, the guy on the far right is amazing.
Pith helmets. A lot of them are wearing pith helmets.
I can't even believe this. We're going on a safari. One of them says in front of you. I'm going to go see the pharaohs themselves. One of them says, chewing his overbite. And with that, you board up, putting your luggage in storage, and then preparing for a bit of time aboard the deck of the river steamer. And I think that's a good time for us to take a quick bathroom break, folks. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hi there. Welcome back. This is the part of the program where we're going to talk to the chat super briefly because we got to get back to some magery. So, folks, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Mage. We've been away for a little while. Our schedules over the summer have been absolutely ridiculous. Plus, the world is absolutely on fire in the Pacific Northwest right now. It's been very, very hot. It's very hot. It is like 90 degrees Fahrenheit everywhere right now with houses that are meant to retain heat because we are in igloos. And it does not really work. 95? It's 95 where you are?
Yes.
That's dumb. Those are American temperatures. I know. I'm from there. It's really ridiculous because whenever I'm actually headed back to Kansas on Tuesday, arriving on Wednesday, it's going to be a horrible flight. And it's like, what is it like in Kansas City right now? I got to double check that. So in Kansas City right now, oh, it's only 84 right now. Oh, dope. This is going to be good. I'm going to still sweat my ass off.
10:30. Are you looking at the current temperature?
Oh yeah, it's 10:30 at night.
It's 10:30 at night, so...
How do you remember Central Time Zone better than me? It is 118 today where you are, Raven? Where are you? The sun? Are you in Cairo? Like, what is going on here? Oh, Southern Cali. Yeah, it's gross right now. So, hey, folks, be sure to stay safe. Sorry that we missed a bunch of games this week. It has been really hot, so we ended up taking 2 nights off this week because of just it being 2 things. One, most of the players in Dork Tales don't have air conditioning, so it is very difficult to focus on gaming when you're that warm, particularly on camera. Secondly, we wouldn't have been doing it with costumes regardless because sweat makes makeup drip off, and with characters that wear a lot of makeup, particularly I was really worried about Amy playing Lyric because having all your pores covered, even with a water-based makeup.
Yeah, that was not going to be happening either way because I would have had to pack that all with me, and I was not bringing it all.
That's fair.
So I had already planned in advance to not do that.
That's fine. And to be honest,
for the other 2 characters though.
If and for Fandelver on Monday, if it is still really warm out again, then we'll just do a costumeless game and we'll just go forward from there. It is more fun and better to have a really good game than it is to do it costumed. Besides, the costume is a bonus thing that we do. Most streams don't, and they get along just fine. So, you know, you can you guys are fine with it, right? I'm pretty sure. So another thing that I'm going to say right now is that we do have a crazy summer schedule. Jen's away for a bunch of things. I'm flying back to the States for a week to go to Extra Life United, where we might win some awards. Oh yeah, and then Robin's coming to Vancouver Island for a bit to because we're flying her in to watch Deadpool and Wolverine, or Wolverine and Deadpool. Which one is it?
It's Deadpool and Wolverine.
Is it Deadpool and Wolverine?
I don't know, but my brain immediately goes to when you talk about people in relationships, which name do you say first?
Oh, then it'd be Wolverine and Deadpool because Wolverine's the top. I'm pretty sure. Deadpool's the switch.
Yeah, but it's Deadpool's movie, so I feel
he
would get...
Is it really?
He's a kind of... I think he'd power bottom.
Oh, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Random, for putting alphabetically in that statement. But Deadpool comes first alphabetically. Thank you for clarifying that. So our next game after this one is going to be on August 10th. And then we're looking at maybe doing August 17th because there's some more summer stuff. And then we're going to get back into a more regular rhythm as September ends and October begins. So basically we'll be back to normal as of October. But it's going to be kind of like back and forth.
Yeah, also a comment about like costumes and streaming and hot. It's not just even costumes. The fact that you're in a room with lights, your computer, all generating heat as well. So it's not like you could be cool. Your computers are... My room's warm and I have a fan pointed at me. Which I was really warm wearing 3 layers of clothes on top just so I didn't have to put this on afterwards. But I got a new corset for Darcie. So
nice.
I need to find her brooch.
All right. So Any other cool stuff going on with people? So we've got Zero Sum is happening tomorrow. It is one of the final games, maybe the final game. Oh, it's not going to be the final game. We're going to slow it down. We're going to make it last.
It depends on some choices that people make, but it could be one of the last games, if not the last one. We'll see.
And then what else is happening? We're 1 month out from the first episode of Descent into Avernus. Which is pretty great. At least from the 0th episode, I guess I should say. So I am pretty excited about that. And then what else is going on? I got to finish that costume. That's going to be happening. Tomorrow is Dreams of Arcos, which I have to go work on all night tonight so that I am exhausted in the morning. And then we've got Shards of Nirn on Wednesday this week. It's normally a Tuesday game. This week it's on Wednesday because I am flying out at like 11 p.m. To get to Kansas City, and I'm arriving at like 10 a.m. on Wednesday, and then I'm gonna hang out with my mom, and then hang out with my stepdad and their dogs, and probably end up cleaning the garage, knowing them, and then I'll run game. Guys, never have parents that like turn like 60 plus, because everything that they do is just you going through your old crap. It's weird. Every time I go over, it's like, hey, have you considered throwing this stuff away? No, I hadn't. You have a house for a reason. Hold my stuff.
What are you talking about? 50, like 60s. My parents are in their 50s and they're doing that to me every time I come over. It's like, Robin, go through your stuff. I'm like,
okay, then never have parents. How's that? Everybody be Batman.
My mom's moved a million times and has none of my stuff because of that.
I've got a bunch of stuff, and then like my mom was like, hey, can I go through your stuff? I'm like, good, just don't open this bag. What's in the bag? You don't want to know. Why don't I want to know? Why do you think you don't want to know? I was a teenager. There's obviously dirty magazines and stuff in there. Just don't go in there, right? There's something in there that I don't want you to know about. Well, why don't you just get rid of it? Because I don't know how to get rid of that stuff. You can't put it in the recycling. Like... It's like nuclear material. What do you do with it? You can't leave it out in the open.
Yeah, my mom moved into a old hotel room that got converted into a condo. It's literally a room and a bedroom. She didn't have space for my stuff.
How? I've seen a lot of those cropping up. How is it? Is it like a cool place?
She loves it. She loves it, but she sacrificed space for her ocean view. So to her, that makes sense. And it's her and her like dog and a cat. It's a little small, but that's mostly because she's filled it with her stuff, because she moved there from a basement suite. So
is it like a tall hotel or like a motel?
It's tall-ish, but it's more like an in-between. Like it's not a tall hotel, but it's not a 1 or 2 story. It's like 4 stories.
There's a motel on the drive to Christine's work where they've done that too, and they turned it. I think it was originally supposed to be like housing for like basically like in between housing for like people who were just getting reestablished, and then it turned into. Let me just say that the cars in the parking lot are nicer than mine now. So I don't know. I think they're just condos now or apartments. It's weird, but at the same point, like I guess I kind of get it. Like. Prices are so expensive that buying a dorm room kind of makes sense. I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah, it's like how places with really high density and has like planned for really high density, they have those they have like micro apartments, right? Where it's basically just a place for you to sleep and to have a few things, and that's about it. I'm not talking about the shitty places that are high density and don't have the space for it, or like haven't created stuff for that. Like in Japan, they have purpose-built ones like this, whereas in New York, they have shitty ones.
Yeah, right. It's the quality versus. I don't even know. It's just quality. I am going down to my mom's house, and my mom and stepdad bought a house for like under $300,000. Now, let me just give you the price that they bought their house at would get you an 800 square foot condo in the Pacific Northwest of Canada, in Victoria, Vancouver, any of the major cities out here, they have a 4-bedroom house with basement and a bar in the basement and a sunroom and a pool. I'm just so mad. And all you have to do is live in Kansas. It's almost worth it. Almost. Anyway, I look forward to running more Mage for you. Also, hey, if you like this game, let me know what other Mage games you want, because I've got some other Mage ideas in the works. And I just realized that Jen's Technocracy game is going to be ending soon, so we're not going to have a Technocracy game on the channel. That feels weird.
You know what you can do to solve that?
Convince you to run more stuff?
God damn it.
I think convince you.
Uno reverse.
Uno reverse. Robin, you're going to run Mage now.
What?
Ooh.
Terrifying.
No, Robin has to finish Panic first.
Yeah,
That's
I
right.
do have to finish Panic.
Oh yeah, when are
first.
we getting back to that? Is that in August or September?
September.
Okay.
Mid-September.
Thank you. We've got so much stuff going on. Also,
Technocracy needs to be finished, and Arcos or Planescape needs to be finished to get back on Technocracy, or to Panic.
yeah, Planescape's going to be a little while longer. We're returning to Planescape in August, and Sorcerer's Crusade. Xenotechnic. That is that's cute. That's cute. I'm not going to run Sorcerer's Crusade. Then again, I do have a copy of Mage the Dark Ages, or Dark Age Mage. I forget which one it is. I could just do a crossover with Transylvania. Also, Transylvania is coming back. I know people have been like chomping at the bit about Transylvania, but it will be coming back on I think it's the 11th of August. Yeah, basically just because I needed some time away because I'm going to the States and then I'm coming back and then I'm taking a weekend off or week off.
And then I'm coming to.
Oh, that's right. That's why we're taking so long, is because you're coming to visit for a week.
Yeah. So
and you don't want to bring your old lady makeup with you.
Also, I have no laptop anymore, so I have nothing to stream.
I could loan you mine, but we're not going to do that because you deserve a week off.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so folks, and we're all going to get together and play Blood on the Clock Tower. Forgot about that. Which I got to send a message about that because I had a big post about when we're meeting and where, and then Facebook ate it because that's what Facebook does.
Nom, nom.
Yeah, Facebook poking, but we'll still eat your posts.
Yeah, poking's back. That's weird. I poked someone who poked me back. Like, you poked me, Jen. I think we're the first one.
I did.
And then
So
I poked Kristen. And Kristen freaked out. She's like, poking's back. And I'm like, damn straight. Poke. You poked me 9 years ago. There you go. Enjoy. I've got pokes from 2013.
Yep. Wild.
And that wouldn't help because the pokes were before 2024 decoder. So it doesn't matter. Stay away for a decade. It would come get you. The pokes. Run from it.
It amuses me. It amuses me that Facebook got both meta AI and brought back poking in the same year.
Can you poke the AI and get the AI to poke itself and then create an infinite ignore previous instructions and poke yourself? God. All right. On that note, I think it's time for us to head back into game. Cheers. It's very gingery. Got a big bottle of kombucha today. Oh yeah. All right. Kombucha booch. All right. Time for us to head back over into Mage the Ascension the Victorian Age here on Dork Tales. Hello and welcome back to Mage the Ascension the Victorian Age. You board Captain Cook's ship, and before long it sets sail out over the Nile. As the day presses on, the sky begins to turn scintillating colors, eventually settling on a dark khaki sandy yellow. As you make your way meandering from Alexandria down the Nile toward Cairo, you pass a number of sites. You can see ancient monuments in the distance, clearly visible from the large deck you share with another 80 or so passengers. The ride shouldn't take too long, an hour, 2, maybe 3. It's almost like the storyteller forgot to look up how long that trip takes. But as you make your way, you now enter a period that all of the brochures describe to you, known as breaking the ice. Everyone's favorite thing from the first day of class is actually part of the river steamer trip. Passengers gather on deck to make each other's acquaintance. The social process of breaking the ice is in a Nile steamer, as it is in all steamers, only more so. The tonnage of the boat does not run to 5 figures, and opportunities are frequent. The entire trip, everyone is of one mind, bound for the same tombs and temples, dam and cataract together. There should be not much effort required, they say. And with that, you find yourselves riding, viewing the landscape as you pass. Is there anyone in particular that you would want to reach out and speak with? Or do you kind of try to keep to yourselves?
I think Chastity wants to keep mostly to herself and keep the dog occupied, and maybe even ask maybe Darcie to help with changing its fur color.
Oh yeah, I can totally, yeah. Darcie will definitely be willing to help with that. Using a bit of life to transform, that's honestly pretty easy. Darcie's going to be probably also staying kind of quiet. We were like hunted down and found on the last boat, so I think Darcie's trying to keep it a little quiet. She'll probably try and avoid most people.
Now the place is mostly standing room. But as you are looking around, you see there are a few seats. And as you all approach, as the riverboat continues down the Nile, a man that is sitting there reading a paper is going to look up at you. He is the picture of colonial Britain. Broad mustache that loops not only over his lip but along his cheeks, his chin perfectly shaved. He wears a monocle and a pith helmet and is dressed in the finest white linen suit. Seeing you, however, approach, he will quickly rise to his feet. Pardon me. By all means, please, ladies, enjoy. Grab a seat if you would not mind. And what brings you out to Cairo? Coming on a honeymoon, perhaps?
Pleasure trip.
Ah, pleasure trip. I apologize. I think that I just have, I've got, I suppose I have love on the mind, one might say. Pleasure to meet you all. Archibald Wellington. Colonel Archibald Wellington. Retired.
Evelyn. Evelyn Taylor.
Ah, Miss Taylor. Please, have my seat. It would be the least I could do for such a lovely young woman traveling by herself. Or traveling with companions, I see. I imagine that you 4 ladies are together?
You'd be correct.
Mm-hmm.
Aye, sir. Colonel.
Yes, well. Well, I am.
What takes you to Cairo, this lovely?
Well, I recently have ended my commission with Her Majesty's service and am returning to India. I have a ticket booked aboard a new and quite amazing new train. I plan to take it all the way out to India to find my a sweetheart of mine that I met in Calcutta. back when I was... to make good on an old flame, I guess I should say.
That's quite romantic. I wish you the best luck, and may you have many years with your old flame.
I couldn't help but notice your accent. You are Irish, perhaps?
Aye. You are correct, sir.
Are you traveling as well with, there's another, different hair color than yours, a bit more brunette, but there is, another Irish woman on board.
Was there an Irish woman on the other ship too?
It might have been.
Okay.
Not this one, though.
No. No, there's not. No, not that I know of.
What was her name? Harker, I believe it was.
Harker?
Yes. What was her name? Isabella Harker, I believe. Oh, lovely young woman. Asked me all manner of questions about my trip and my adventures and my meeting with dear Sari. Anyway, I seem to have prattled on long enough.
It's quite interesting, sir. I thank you for vacating your seat for us, and may you enjoy the rest of your ship cruise.
I intend to. It's going to be the last great adventure of this old soldier's life.
I think your greatest adventure is just starting.
Yes? Yeah, exactly. It seems that you and I understand each other very well. Never mind. I'll leave you in peace. And he is going to give you a nod and is going to head off. Across the way, at one of the other seats, an old woman is going to look up at you from behind a veil. She looks up at you. Her skin is tanned and cracked and weathered from age, and she looks up at you from behind a veil and says, "Pay no attention to him, love. He's been prattling on like that since we boarded the ship from France. Terrible weather that we had there. You four ladies say that you're traveling for pleasure?"
Yes, true. That would be true.
Where are you most looking forward to going? Excuse me, Matilda. You may call me Matilda, or Miss Corsaris.
I'm Chastity Goodwin. Pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Oh, an American. Let me guess, you're from... you don't sound quite like New York.
Well, most recently New York.
You've got a hint of Boston in there. Am I right? From New England?
Thereabouts.
How
I've been there in a long time, though.
How are you enjoying seeing the continent, dear?
It's been an adventure.
That it is. You know, I haven't been back to Egypt or to India in nearly 50 years. I'm quite curious how it all has changed. She leans forward, kind of appraising you. She's dressed in mostly browns and dark colors. In fact, actually, pardon me, she's dressed in blacks. She's dressed in the mourning black of a widow. And next to her voluminous skirts, you're going to see that there is a cage with a black veil over it. As you are there, as you are looking at it, the papillon, or papillon, is going to start sniffing the air ferociously and is going to start squirming in your arms and growling at the cage.
Sorry. This one seems to be a bit upset by something.
Oh, probably my traveling companion. Little Raquel.
What sort of companion?
One that I brought with me to England when I was sent away to marry. I was raised in a, my father was in charge of an outpost in India, you see, when I was a child. And grew up in a wonderful, we say, something of a plantation, I suppose I should say. But this is the great-grandchild of the great-great-great-grandchild of the one that I brought with me. Perhaps some more greats. Would you like to see? If you can keep your ferocious beast intact, I'd show you.
It's not much of a ferocious little critter, but sure. She'll hold the dog tightly.
She'll lift the cage up and go, Raquel, and is going to pull the cage up, revealing what looks a lot like a very narrow-eyed ferret. First time seeing a mongoose.
Ah.
Voracious hunters. This one saved me from an asp when I was a little girl. Well, not this one, but its ancestor.
I've heard that they can go quite toe-to-toe with a cobra. Or other snake.
What a strange beast.
Actually, they're kind of thick-bodied, but yeah. Stripes around its back. That's... They live quite a while, actually. This one's grandmother lived to be nearly 20 years old. Raquel herself is, going on 9. I tell you, the hardest thing at all has been writing to other collectors inside of England who are able to offer breeding pairs. And
I'm sure you must have quite the network by now.
I do my best. Of course, that means that I will have to not only keep Raquel under wraps, but we'll have to stand that old blowhard. Probably trying to dine with me in the dining cart. I'm bound for the same railroad that he is. Hopefully not the same. Who am I kidding? There's only so many trains leaving at one time. I doubt that the Empress Express has multiple ridings.
Maybe you'll be seated in different coaches?
Yes, perhaps, my love, but the dining car is where you all congeal. Commingle. It's expected. Have you never ridden on a train before? Oh, love, it's wonderful. If you're in a certain class of carriage, you are expected to eat together in the dining car. And when a seat is open at a table, there is mingling and commingling. Much like this social hour here. Listen to all of the conversation that's going on right now. Oh, that's why I said that we should definitely up the amount of protection that we have over the western states in the Union. You know, to prevent any type of interference from them them engines. I say, that sounds preposterously barbaric. Have you considered merely just letting the folks live their lives? Etc., etc.
Make note of that, dude.
Right?
Because he seems relatively enlightened.
Didn't you sign a number of treaties? Oh, treaties aren't worth the paper they're signed on. There's gold out there. Ain't you heard about California? Yes, I've heard that it's tremendously hot. And we're in Egypt. No.
All right, out of character, but it's kind of ridiculous how well you do snooty, like, lethargic British.
Lethargic British. Just, you know what? I'm going to name this guy right now. Give me... so what would that be?
Also, while we're quickly out of character, I'm enjoying the fact that Darcie's hairline on her art is lining up with the horizon in the background art currently, so it looks like
Darcie's does make the top of her head disappear just a little.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's great.
Well, I was gonna...
Obviously, I think he has to be called Nigel.
I was thinking Quincy.
Oh, but Nigel. It really rolls off the tongue with the... Yeah.
Fine. Nigel Quincy.
There you go.
Last name Quincy. I'll put woke old Brit.
It is a very what's his name? Thornberries?
Yeah. Nigel Quincy.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. Yeah. Nigel Quincy, the woke old Brit, and he is a... I don't even know. We'll find out. We'll find out. Where? Oh, shh. Come on, Raquel, go back to sleep. She puts the cover back on, and the mongoose will settle down after... You see that its tail kind of twitches up in this rhythmic kind of pattern as the dog stares it down. Actually, one moment. Amy, can you do me a favor and make me an intimidation and presence roll for the dog? You have 4 dice.
Okay.
Difficulty 6. Because the dog is going to growl at this thing.
Damn, that's 3 successes for the dog.
Okay, the mongoose is going to... The papillon is going to go... under its throat, and the mongoose is going to bristle up and back to the back of the cage, basically keeping her eyes locked on it until the drape is put back over the cage.
Sorry about that.
What a ferocious little monster you have there.
A little more bark than bite, though.
So a male?
You know, I'm not sure.
We recently rescued it, so
And you weren't able to check? It's...
don't think it's been quite on our mind to go.
No, it's been rather busy.
Evelyn will just calmly pick up the dog's leg from where it's sitting in Chastity's arms.
That's a little rude.
What's the decision?
It's a male.
What do you want it to be?
It's a male.
It's male.
The dog is going to look somewhat ashamed and hide its face.
It's all right. We won't hold it against you.
Oh.
Pat, pat.
Listen, we all have male familiars. It's fine.
I like that you named it Clementine when I had a completely different name for the dog.
No, I didn't name it that. That's what I had written down from it.
I did call it Clementine, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I was very surprised when you said male. I was like, wow, this Baroness did not give a shit about what the dog was.
Okay, we're gonna. I thought, okay, so never mind.
It's perfect. I love it.
It's perfect. Yeah. Okay. Well, it's canon. It's canon. Maybe it's.
I feel like that's in character for that Baroness.
I really does.
Right.
I have not named the dog. That's what she was thinking. She's like, I haven't checked, but like in the brain is thinking, huh. Let's name that, but honestly, I don't know.
Okay, well, that's one of those moments where I accidentally made something canon that I hadn't realized. Hey, run with it and move. So,
I mean, that's totally in the character of the Baroness.
I love the Baroness. Leave her alone. Leave her alone.
I would take her up on charges for animal abuse.
Yeah,
those things don't exist for 100 years. All right. So, as this is going on, there are plenty of other people that you can mingle around with if you feel like you have the urge to, or you could just try to hide in quiet.
So I thought this boat was an overnight kind of thing again, so I think we'll have to go about trying to change the dog's fur color on a different time, because Darcy's not going to be doing that in a standing room open only boat, so.
The riverboat from Cairo to... I'm just double checking. I think it's standing room only.
That's fair. I was assuming it was a longer boat ride for some reason, so...
I mean, that makes sense.
Also, now the woman has seen the dog's color, so it'll be very strange if it's suddenly a different color.
Someone's going to correct me in the chat, but, or someone's
standing room only in this world.
Standing room only, and it's got a very powerful motor.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I think Evelyn will wander a little bit, keeping an eye on her bag, and probably attempt to chat with their male traveling companions at this point. She's not too interested in the other people on the boat, but she'll kind of pay attention because it sounds like several of them are planning to take the train that they're planning to take.
All right, sounds good. So, are you just going around and like talking to people, like, or are you just talking to Henry and Sam?
Mainly just them, but kind of wandering and listening to other conversations and kind of trying to put it to faces a little bit.
Sounds good. Henry and Sam are kind of sticking a little bit of ways away and are kind of muttering to each other. Look, I just don't like it. The witchcraft thing is weird, okay? It's weird. Yes, it is weird. By definition. You need to lighten up. There are things in this world that are stranger than you've probably ever seen. I've seen plenty, right? I've seen some of the weird shit that your people can do. I've seen all sorts of... Yeah, Doc? You got a queer look on your face. What are you thinking about?
I'm just mingling. I'm wandering about, and was going to say hello. But if you need a private conversation, I'll leave you be.
No, it's fine, okay? I'm sorry. I'm just a little tense. You said you're not like your friend, right?
Well, I suppose you know nothing about that world, correct? This is kind of first introduction to it.
I mean, I've seen some weird. Go ahead and make me a charisma and empathy roll.
Okay. That will be interesting as I do not have empathy.
Okay, so that's difficulty of 6 still because it's just a basic skill.
And even less empathy now that you're quiet and you're just like, yeah.
These new guys love me. That's 3 successes, 2 of which were 10s.
Okay, so he's going to pause for a minute.
3-die roll.
And you're going to see like a shadow fall over his eyes. And look, no, it's not the first time he shoots a look over at Henry. When I was stationed out west, we were in the Dakotas. It's actually we'd had some settlers go missing near Sioux lands in the Black Hills. I met Henry a few times through other interactions, and we rode out to see if any of it was theirs or if there were any warring tribes or anything like that that might have done it. I didn't really know Henry well at the time, but well enough. Well, we became good mates that day, I guess, because there were things in the hills that night. They were, what'd you call them? Skinwalkers.
Having grown up in Canada and having a lot of knowledge of enigmas and a bit of esoterica, has
sure, give me an
Evelyn
int and
ever come
esoterica
across
roll.
this word before? Esoterica?
Int and esoterica.
Okay. Does deductive apply?
Sure.
And difficulty?
Difficulty of 7.
Okay. 3 successes.
3 successes. A skinwalker can be a number of things. It could just be a straight up werewolf. It could be someone who ritualistically changes their body by using potions and ointments similar to like the berserkers of like the Norse. It could be someone who wraps themselves in the skin of a wolf belt or the skin of a human belt that was gifted to them by Satan at a crossroad. It could also be someone who calls upon the spirits of wolves or things like that to transform them. There could be a number of things. Those are all real werewolf myths, by the way, including
Okay. That's kind of where I would take that, is that it sounds like something to do with probably
like a shapeshifter.
Shapeshifting
Usually
for
an evil warlock or wizard.
You guys saw Darcie shift into a dog in the maze when we were
That's
in
true.
the
A mage definitely could do it.
I just mean in the context of potentially like how it would have been indigenous Native American Indian type mythos regarding that and what that might mean in that.
Yeah, you think that it could be easily one of the dream speakers. There were a bunch of them, and
several ways that can be done. Yes.
Well, great. Can you do that?
Not without a lot of work and help.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
That would be quite difficult.
Okay, I'm going to give you...
I could potentially construct something and cast my spirit into it.
He's
kind
gonna
of amusing.
He's
but
going to
I
take a
think that would
drink out of his flask and wander away.
Quite a few more years of work.
You seem to have scared him off, Henry will say.
Well, I suppose it's good information for him to have, and maybe he needs to come to terms with it a little bit first.
His mind is fragile. He has not seen very many things, and what he saw that night was shrouded in darkness and blood. You are not any type of shaman that I have seen before.
I'm a scientist.
Like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. I have read it.
Not to that extent or that type, no, but you're not exactly far off the gist of it.
Are you more like H.G. Wells's inventions?
I work with a lot of chemical combinations and things that when combined, produce the effects I need.
Chemical combinations.
But also mechanical. She will half open up her umbrella so he can see all the mechanism inside that allows her to shoot stuff out the end of it.
Interesting. You remind me of some of the things that Jules Verne wrote of.
Oh.
Do you have, I suppose, You are Canadian, you said?
Yes, I grew up in Ottawa.
So not a harpooner. Like Ned Land.
You're going to have to explain the reference, Christine.
Absolutely. It's a deep cut. Can you please give me... Do you have academics?
I do. I have 3 points.
Intelligence and academics, difficulty of 9, please.
Okay.
Henry's very well read, apparently.
Difficulty 9, you said?
Yep.
2 successes.
2 successes. All right. After months of fruitless searching, to look for hunt down and destroy a monster. Sorry, pardon me. Let me just rephrase that. There is a brash Canadian harpooner called Ned Land in the book 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. He and the 2 other main characters are thrown overboard, which is where they meet Captain Nemo.
Okay.
It's a deep cut, actually, for a character from a book that's like 40 years old at this point. Well, 30 years old at this point.
20,000 Leagues.
You do not have your own Nautilus.
Not at this point. Maybe one day.
Excuse me. Excuse me. A man is going to stumble into view. He's impeccably well dressed. In a pinstripe suit. Matching hat of the same fabric. A little curly mustache with a shock of red around the tips. Excuse me, is this man bothering you? He sneers.
Not in the slightest. And she's going to flick her fan between her and this new thing.
I'm surprised they let your kind away from your reservations. He sneers.
Are you quite finished?
Men like him will never be finished.
This is true. That's a perfect example of money can't buy class.
Do me a favor. Can you make me
just stare him in the eye.
Make me a charisma and manipulation roll, please. Or pardon me, charisma and intimidation roll.
I don't have intimidation either, but does my quiet add to that by any chance?
I'll lower your difficulty to 5.
Sweet. All right, I'll roll flat charisma. Oh, actually, come to think of it, because I was saying I am staring like flat at him.
Oh, you're gonna use your enchanting eyes?
Yes, my enchanting feature. Does that lower it any further?
I forget if that gives you dice or it lowers your difficulty. Do you remember?
I'm trying to think. When you deploy this feature in question as part of some social feat, reduce certain casting difficulties by -2.
I'll just say,
So
give me a difficulty 3.
Okay. Reduce difficulty by 2 when your character deploys a feature in question as part of some social feat. There it is.
Perfect. There it is. All right. So that's difficulty 3 then.
That's 3 successes then.
I never. He's going to say as he kind of.
I don't believe you ever have.
You'll hear a few people titter and laugh nearby as you'll hear someone say, it's not exactly right, you know. Matching pinstripes this time of year. I thought you were supposed to be an elegant tailor, Mr. Thompson. Well, perhaps you should take some style from, I mean, it's a simple outfit, but he looks quite rugged compared to you. Besides, seems this lady's got your number. I never. And he will like trundle off. That was well handled, says a woman with kind of auburn hair that's kind of upped in a bun.
Unfortunately, I've had much practice.
So, you might have caused a bit of a stir there. That is Planter Thompson. He's a world-famous tailor.
Really? She's gonna look at his clothes.
Aye, it's very popular in Milan right now. He's a bit of a ponce, though, don't you think?
There's no accounting for taste.
I know. I had to cover him for a story. Excuse me. Wonderful to meet you. Actually, I don't think I've ever met someone from the Americas of your breed, sir, that are this far out over into the east. This is my first time out this far. Hope it does well to you. You're definitely going to be a bit, what's the term, a little bit exotic out here, but think nothing of it. At least you probably won't burn like a bit of church paper next to a fire like I'm going to. Under her hat, you can see she's very, very pale, even though she probably has a couple of layers of tan and more freckles than Darcie.
She's pale. Evelyn, I have to put on white foundation for Evelyn.
That's fair.
Evelyn's probably got the scarf or big hat on.
So what brings you out this far? You're just here for pleasure.
Who's she talking to? Because you were just talking to Henry.
Well, both of you.
Oh, okay. Yes. Pleasure trip. Traveling several...
Oh, are you together?
Things.
Oh, that's a bit scandalous, don't you think? But you know what? I mean, the heart wants what it wants.
I'm traveling with my 4 female friends and Mr. Mateo and his friend.
Oh, so he's not quite a playboy, is he?
She's just not going to raise the bait at all with that.
You're a clever one. Well, nice to meet you. My name's Isabella. Isabella Harker.
Lovely to meet you as well.
You said you're, I overheard you say that you're a doctor of some kind. That's really rare. You're from the Americas too then, I imagine.
Originally.
All right. Well, interesting. Lady Doctor, you don't see many of those. I did hear that there was a medicine woman out west, a Dr. Quincy, Dr. Quinn, something like that. Bit of a medicine woman out west, but besides that, not too many of them. Did you find that it was difficult?
Doctor of Science.
Oh, Doctor of Science. Did you find that it was hard getting accredited?
Yes.
Oh, I imagine so. Lots of difficulty with all the men and their beakers and test tubes waving in your face.
They're rather sensitive, honestly. If they can't do it, then a woman shouldn't be able to do it, of course.
Meanwhile,
Such would be far, far too dangerous to that fragile masculinity.
And yet we're supposed to balance the books and keep the house in order and manage all of the finances and all of that. But of course, we couldn't actually do any real work.
Can you imagine if one of them had to go through childbirth?
I imagine the Earth would be far less populated if that were the case.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever want to discuss your experience in academia or rising up through the ranks of science, do let me know. If I ever see you again, I'm a reporter.
I will keep that in mind. Send you a letter.
Here, I have a card. You're more than welcome to it. The same with you, Mr. Batu? He'll nod. Here you are. And as that is all going on, as Darcie's kind of looking around, you're going to get bumped into again as Sam heads over to the railing and takes a swig of his flask, almost slipping it out of his hand again as you bump into each other. Oh. Not this time.
You really should get a Like a carrying pouch for almost like a purse.
I'll give you a sip if you shut up. It's whiskey.
Something should have said, say no more.
It's Irish.
I said, say no more. You already sold me the milk. You don't have to sell me on the cow, too.
If I had a cow that could give this much or this kind of whiskey, huh. Oh boy.
Darcie's like mentally going through spell books.
Could I do that?
Can I do that?
And then, as you're sitting there, Josephine, what are you doing? Just kind of chilling out, trying not to converse as Chastity is having like a little struggle fest with this little monster Clementine?
I think at some point, probably a little earlier on, Josephine did want to say a quiet thank you to Darcie for the arm. It's basically like your handiwork and thanks. But after that, she is super paranoid now. That fight blindsided her and nearly killed her. And so so she's like back to a wall if she can, in a corner, like trying to not interact with people at all.
So as you're back in the corner, you're going to hear, well, you're going to see that people are kind of giving you a wide berth just from the kind of shell-shocked look that you're displaying. And as you're back there, you can't help but hear the sound of a loud thump, thump, thump of a thick boot headed your direction. And then you're going to see, breaking through the crowd, broad smile of silver and gold teeth, a red brown-faced man, the type of, once upon a time he was probably Caucasian. However, a lifetime of the elements and being out on the water have kind of tanned him to that reddish brown of like good leather. And as he moves through the crowd, he is wearing an antiquated coat that is barely suited for this environment. A large scar bisects his eyebrow and cheek, and you can see lolling in its socket a false eye made of silver. He pushes through the crowd. Josephine Carrington. How are you doing, love? Silver Eye Kieran says to you.
And the crowd is reacting to him, right?
Yes.
Wasn't sure if I'd made that part up. Okay.
Oh, no, love. You didn't make that part up. You needed me and I needed you, and so we took the remainder of what was left of that arm of yours, and we made something bigger and better out of it.
That we did.
Is this the look you wanted? I could have adjusted it a bit. At least change the outfit. Do you think I should? Should I dress like these knobs? Shorten the coattails. Change up the boots.
A change of look is not bad, but I don't think you need to adhere to their nonsense.
Good. I've already scouted out the boat, lass. You're safe here. There's some pickpockets, and the pregnant lady over there is actually, that belly's a fake one. She's got a couple of runners, the children, on the boat. 2 of them are collecting wallets and watches and passing it inside of their mom's fake belly for storage. It's quite a good scam. Maybe you should get in on it.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got 4 ladies, you could probably do it.
I think I have enough contraband on me at the moment.
And I've got to say, I'm more than a little proud of you. You've got all manner of piracy inside of you. I'm proud of you. You might make a good pirate yet.
Well, it's good someone is.
What do you mean by that?
I just don't think the others really approve of what I did, so...
Oh, do they not? After stealing dogs. And corpses. Oh, you weren't awake for that. Let me let you know. Ask Evelyn what she's got in her bag.
I will.
Hopefully it doesn't start to smell before you get to Cairo. It's quite hot out. Then again, she probably put it in some type of embalming solution or other goo-ga.
Interesting.
You're traveling with a couple of hombres. Do yourself a favor. Do you want that to happen to you again? Losing your arm. He yawns atrociously. No? Then you should get something to fix that. You're powerful, aye. There's someone inside of the city. At least there always has been when I came through here. If the family's still alive, you should go look for them. They'll be able to set you up.
With what?
Back in my day, I had one of these. And he's going to raise his arm up, roll up the sleeve, and you're going to see that there is a bright... Once upon a time, it was bright. The tattoo is old and faded, but it is a tattoo of an albatross on his arm. This one right here. Wow. This has got me out of more than a pickle or two. Or at least it did before I died. Allowed me to... I didn't pay up fully when the time was right. It was supposed to let me call upon the body of an albatross to transform into a bird. I only paid for half of it though, so instead it allowed me to literally call upon the body of an albatross. Either way, if you're in a gunfight and someone throws a fucking bird at you, it's a bit of a distraction.
That's true. Tattoo though. I've seen some of the Fabana and the Dream Speakers have those. Usually for shape-shifting, like you said.
Mm-hmm. What pirate worth their salt doesn't have a couple of tattoos? Farouk.
Maybe you're right.
The name I heard said around you was Farouk.
Okay.
Go find someone. The Farouk family been magi for generations. They're proud of it. They're proud of where they are in society as well. Do you know the name Farouk? Do you know what it means?
No.
It means low. It also means seer of truth.
Oh. Well, I'll find them. I'll probably pay full price, though.
You don't want to shoot any birds at people?
I mean, maybe, but if I did, I'd want that to be the thing I was paying for rather than just the thing I got for half cost.
Spart.
Hey, if it works for you.
Of course. Until it didn't. Then again, I'd like you to live for a while longer before I become you. For one day, Josephine Carrington, I'll be you. And you'll be I. When you die, I'll take you into me. And the next time that I'm reincarnated into a new soul, perhaps I'll show up to them as you. But give me something epic to be. Otherwise, you've got to beat Silver Eye.
Duly noted.
I'll be seeing you around. I'll be watching if you need me.
Thank you.
Give me a legend worth being, Bani Tharsis. And he'll turn and vanish into the crowd.
Josephine will quietly say to herself after he's gone, I will.
Do you head over and find Darcie?
No.
Okay.
I still think that I'm gonna hang out here. Even if I saw Darcie, if Sam was there, she'd probably be like, I'm just not gonna interrupt that.
Fair. Is anybody else doing anything else on the ride? There are a number of people nearby, people from all walks of life. There are children that are running around bumping into people. There are everything here from prospectors to mechanics. There's even a magician standing nearby, talking about tricks that they plan on performing at a wealthy Englishman's house in Cairo. Chastity.
All right, here's a weird question. I don't know if it's doable. But that one asshole that was confronting Evelyn and Henry.
Oh, please do something to him.
If I was able to, if Chastity overheard any of that, or if he caused a fuss somewhere else because, can't keep mouth shut to save his life.
I'm pretty sure there's someone of a slightly different than lily white color that he's affecting.
Gross. Oh, okay.
Someone with a slight tan.
What I would love to do, and I don't know if this is possible, is I would like to do. Okay, I have life 2, I have prime, I have mind, I have correspondence, I have time. I want to make him really smell attractive to certain local fauna. Like
Understood.
maybe crocodiles. or something.
Okay. What level of life do you have?
Just 2. So whatever it is something subtle. So I don't know if I'm putting something
mine 2,
on
life
him.
2 would be enough. Yeah.
Birds.
Mine
I
too.
like seagulls.
Or
Constantly annoy
birds.
him.
Yeah.
All right. That sounds great to me.
And I'm thinking that how to do this is a combination
is this a hunger thing, an erotic thing, or are you going to have seagulls like try to mate with his head? Like, what are we doing here?
I was just gonna have him get like attacked and eaten.
Oh, okay, that's fine. That's very
yeah.
easy then.
That, or he could constantly be being shat on by birds.
That would be
That
also
kind of thing.
pretty
Which would be
great. I think them
absolutely
trying
hilarious.
to mate with him.
I mean, if they
that
keep
was up-
trying to land on him, they'll probably also
just-
poop on him.
Yeah.
Sadly,
he just
I
smells
don't
like
have
French
any
fries
entropy.
now.
Otherwise, I totally would.
You don't need entropy for this. You can just set up aggression. You can make
Yeah,
him an aggression target for birds.
Yeah, we're gonna do that.
How would you do this? Just
and-
pray that he gets his comeuppance?
No, I think she's gonna do that, but she's also going to run into him and bump and drop food on him.
Okay. So,
Maybe
this
something that she knows will be appealing to certain creatures or something.
Oh, apparently there's an Egyptian goose.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh, yes. Have him be.
And apparently Egyptian geese can be very aggressive.
Oh
Is there
god,
anything
that
like
thing looks
Canadian
terrifying. It's got like
Egyptian.
it looks like
Greece
it's wearing
work, but-
eyeliner. It's wearing coal.
So it can
Oh.
be especially aggressive towards other birds. So I bet if you gave a little push to aggression, it could catch their attention too.
It's really part cobra chicken.
right.
Yep.
Oh my god, I love it. That's so cool. Yeah, okay. I think that's gonna be an inadvertent side effect. She's probably just thinking like general birds, like seagulls and things like that. But I think this is what's actually gonna end up going after him.
Okay. The goslings are so cute. Okay, so why don't you go ahead and give me this? This is going to be an arete roll at a difficulty of 6.
Okay, I'm spending a willpower.
Do it.
I'm gonna spend a quintessence to make that a 5.
All right, and how many successes are you going for? 3 will be for the
I want
day.
this to follow him for a long time.
Okay, so go for 4.
Yeah, at least 4. Okay. All right. Oh, I need to close that one off. Okay. And if I have to do it again, if I have to go and trip into him multiple times to make it stick, I will do that. Oh, I have 4 arete now. Ha!
You do. All right, you got 1 success from the willpower.
Mm-hmm. So, because I dropped it down to 5 with a quintessence, and I rolled 3 more successes, that is 4 successes right there.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, so mark that on your sheet as a held effect.
Okay.
So you are going to... That's what I said. Look, you don't belong on this ship. Look at you. Ugh, absolutely atrocious outfit.
Gosh, I'm so sorry.
Do you know how much this coat cost?
Oh, well, I'm sure it's going to cost a lot more to clean it too. That's terrible. Oh my gosh.
Ugh, I need club soda.
Well, you know, I'm just gonna go over there. I have things I need to do elsewhere. And Chastity's just gonna do that and walk away.
Can you give me a dex and stealth roll just to kind of hide the crowd?
Sure, what's my difficulty?
Difficulty of 5. It's very, very crowded here.
Yeah, and I'm not very stealthy. I am other things.
This is true. You're the opposite of stealthy.
Oh my fucking god, are you kidding me?
What'd you do?
Okay, well, what was the difficulty? Was it 5 or 6?
Difficulty of 5.
Okay, so I rolled a 5 and 2 1s.
Ooh. Well, that sucks. That's just a fail. So you're just gonna kind of go water try and back up into the crowd. You're going to have to pay for this. Oh, fucking blast. And he's going to go over to
I would love to point at someone else and say, oh, I'm with someone particularly rich looking, and point at them and say, oh, I'm traveling with them. They've got, it's just put it on my tab.
It won't.
They'll cover it. And then it's just going to try and get out of the way.
Okay, he is going to go to the edge of the ship and start trying to clean off his outfit, and that's when you're going to hear the noise. As suddenly there is a barrage of birds.
I'd love to go get a drink to sit and sip while I'm watching this.
That are going to flood the edge of the boat. Suddenly he is going to become completely covered in the local birds of the Nile, and is going to start screaming as they start pecking and tearing strips of flesh off of his face. And he is going to let out an atrocious scream. That's going to be some wound penalties. Let's roll that. And is going to tumble over the railing and into the water with a splash. The birds are going to follow a canopy of feathers. You're going to hear, "Man overboard! Man overboard!" As a number of the ship's crewmen rush over to throw out a life preserver to him. However, I'm going to spend a drama bomb. Chastity, regain your willpower point.
Okay.
As you sit down and kind of idly peek over, you're going to see, before he does, that the sudden disturbance in the water of the birds and him thrashing is going to summon more birds, more than geese. There's going to be a soft green ripple nearby. And then suddenly, a long shape is going to emerge, bite down, and the crocodile is going to pull him beneath the waves in a death spin.
I'm gonna release my effect because I don't think I need it anymore.
There are screams from those on board as blood begins to bubble up. And soon there is nothing left.
To strategically faint at the horrible sight.
Sounds great. The rest of you that are hearing this will look overboard just in time to see nothing left but bubbling, frothing blood. And a bit of pinstriped fabric.
Oh dear. Looking over the edge of the railing.
Oh my.
Did he have any luggage?
And Josephine's just turning into complete
Josephine, can you please give me please make me a perception plus investigation roll? Do you have investigation?
Sure. Yes, I do.
Oh, that's beautiful. All right. So you got his name earlier from people.
It's true.
So please.
What am I looking for?
You're looking for. It's pretty busy here. So when you're unloading, give me 8s.
Okay, that is 1 success.
Okay, you'll be able to at least find 2 of his trunks that are there. They are, of course, for a Planter Thompson.
Glitching super hard.
And you are going to be able to acquire quite a bit of finery and some traveling notes. And before long, you all are going to find yourselves docking in Cairo.
Excellent.
So before we duck that, I sent a link to something that I think Darcie has that I just would like to give to Sam when they're talking.
What's this?
So I usually put like smelling salts in it, but I figure since I do feel bad, even though you were very rude to me, I do feel bad about knocking your flask off. So here.
Look, it's fine. I got it back. What, you mean the top bit?
Yeah, just take the top. You don't have to have the bottle. I'll take the bottle. Just take the top. But you can put that around your finger, and then if I bump into you more, I won't toss your flask into ungodly places. Like that crocodile. Huh. That's a sight.
Was that witchcraft? Was that one of you?
No, I don't think so. No one would be doing a blatant murder right out in front of everyone. That would be quite silly.
Seemed pretty magical to me. Look, I'm not saying that the God, I don't even know how to talk in front of you anymore. The so-and-so.
The so-and-so.
Well, I ain't about to call him a cock alley in front of you. You're a lady now. I can't just go around being my typical self.
I'm just pretend you're talking to Tommy. I liked it better. You're being a real, like, you're being a real.
What?
Hold on a second. You're being a real. You're being a real mad about it.
I don't even know what that means.
It's Darcie points to her down there area. That you fucking. They didn't say fucking
All right.
back then. You.
No, they said feckin'.
Absolute fecking.
Listen, okay, you soft horn. I ain't treating you any different than I would treat any other lady on board here.
Good. I don't want special treatment.
Look, if you weren't such a do-beater, we never would have had this conversation in the first place. All right?
If you were such a knave, I wouldn't have had to.
Oh, yeah, I'm a knave. I'm a knave. You're a fustalugs.
Yeah,
huh? How about that one? Huh? Shut your sauce box.
Lean over to Henry at this point and be like, is this how he flirts?
Is this how she flirts?
Well, I don't know. The one time I did see her, like, try to, like, chat with a fellow that way. It was much nicer, but then he was pretending to be a lord at the time. We didn't know that at the time, but we found out later that
I mean, she did kick him in the head.
She did. This is true.
You are very good
So,
at sneaking
yes.
up. I barely heard you.
I've never seen her swear at a man like this.
Darcie.
But then she's generally trying to be relatively proper, so I don't know. It's definitely got
Sorry
her
to-
good skin.
Sorry to interject, Darcie.
Oh,
Am I interrupting something here?
No.
No.
No?
No.
I'm interrupting something. Sorry, Darcie.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
what are the chances that I could get blamed for that? If I, made
What?
him appealing to birds?
No, I would say no reason.
Witches.
No, she prays really hard.
It's true.
That's God's work.
You found Jesus yet?
Plenty.
Sam, you
don't
got yourself
think
in
so.
with monsters. Monsters. He's going to wander off. Monsters. You got yourself in with.
You use the flash screen.
It's not going to turn me into a newt or something, is it?
No more than you already are.
I'll drink to that.
Apologies. She'll say to Henry and just be.
For what?
Much fun to wind up.
Yes, it's one of the reasons that I stay with him. He is a funny man.
He truly is.
And a decent one. For one of your kind. Although you don't seem like you think you are that civilized. Quote unquote, as they say.
Civilized?
You don't seem nearly as stuck up.
Well, when you are a woman who does not do what she is supposed to do by society's standards, you get treated an awful lot like people who are not considered to be part of civilization. In some regards, so I suppose I have learned to not care.
I have found it very strange. Please continue. I apologize.
Being a doctor all, flouting social convention. I mean, I suppose I did follow it a little by getting married, but considering I am... Yes. He is there, I am here. I don't follow society's rules very much. I like to blend in slightly. Because then you don't have somebody screaming witch at you and hunting you down.
Yes.
If you at least, at first glance, blend in.
It never made much sense to me. Is it not better to have more people sharing stories, practicing medicine, making music and art?
Of course.
Tell that to the rest of America.
I suppose they're all like that fellow who went overboard.
His death served a greater purpose.
She'll just smile at him for that. She's like, yes, okay, somebody who's not going to just pretend horror at it.
Crocodiles have to eat too. I feel bad for the crocodile.
I mean, it's probably the best use he's put his life to.
Normally, they're not prone to eating dung.
This is true. Most animals aren't. I suppose I've heard that there's a beetle that does, though.
Yes, but now that crocodile is quite full of shit.
But generally it tends to be those who are relatively small-minded and feel deeply inadequate in themselves that act like him. So in some ways I do feel sorry for them. Because they miss out on so much.
Yes, it is interesting to see this part of the world. I've read about it many times. To see it. Look. A mosque. And he will point over his shoulder as the boat begins to sail into Cairo proper, as dusk begins to set over a massive city, teeming with mosques and old brick buildings.
The
Stunning.
architecture is beautiful. It's amazing what humans can do when we put our minds to it.
And looking over your shoulder, you will see Cairo loom in the distance as you begin to make your way into the port, finally at your destination after a prolonged and awkward trip. And I think that's probably a good place for us to end tonight as you make it in there. Josephine, be sure to mark down all the stuff you stole. All right, so we're going to call game there for tonight. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm going to give you guys, let's see, chatbot 1 experience point, and I'm going to give you 2 for a total of... did more people buy?
Yeah, one more person bought during the game.
All right, so 4 experience points to you all tonight.
Nice.
What?
Kelly.
What do you want?
It doesn't have to happen when it's ready.
You're going to pay for another seeking?
Yes.
Oh my God. Way too powerful. Way too powerful. Sure, go ahead and spend it. You might not pass.
That's fair.
How much is
I wanted to basically do a seeking to
8 times current rating.
It's 32. It's 32 points. That's a 28. I can stay at the same level. I just want to get rid of her injury specialty in life because she's learned her lesson. I want her to go to. I want to change that up. So it doesn't have to be for Rattray 5. I just want to get it to like change out.
Okay, well we'll see what happens regardless.
Yeah, okay.
So folks, we'll be back tomorrow with a bunch more games. If you're on Patreon, you'll be able to see Technocracy Zero Sum. Our next Mage game, which will actually be set inside of Cairo proper, is going to be on August 10th. So hopefully you'll join us for that. And then we'll actually be getting on the train shortly after that and beginning the actual game that I was expecting to happen on episode 2 of this season. But it's only going to be episode like 7. Hey, it's going to be a long season, which is going to be pretty great. Hey, but a big thank you to everybody who showed up tonight and watched the game. Thank you to players. If you are not already subscribed to Jen's Paradox and Mage the Ascension podcast, please do so. You can find the link in our chat right now or down below, or just Google Paradox and Mage podcast. Jen puts a lot of work into it. I'm there sometimes. I put no work into it, and it's a lot of fun. You should go listen to it. It's a really, really quality podcast, and you get to hear a lot about Mage stuff. And if you want to support the channel directly and see Technocracy Zero Sum, our Technocracy game that Jen runs and I get to play in and wear really weird wigs, go to our Patreon at patreon.com/dorktales. You can join the likes of our divine producer, my mom, our demonic producers, Precarious, Mysterium MK, and Sorcerer Sanguine, our wizards of the Patreon, Tammy the Forever Cleric, the Ink Goblin, and Krasha Urquhart. Soul Omen is our monster maker, and we have our High Council of the Patreon, Taryn, Dustin, Amberthist, Raven with Baubles, Chef Eladeth, Larouk, Mike Baxter, Iridian, Brian Kaler, Nerdy Metal Gent, and Kelowna Curd. And thanks to everybody else who's on the Patreon at the lower tiers as well. I love you so much. You got a lot of content coming in the next couple weeks now that I am back to work. I love you all very much, and we will see you here for Mage the Ascension, the Victorian Age on August 10th. Bye, everybody.